Welcome everyone to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene, where we serve the hottest tea. Join me and my baby stripper voice.
And me welcoming you all to eavesdrop onto our uncensored opinions. This platform is used to inform, laugh, and potentially inspire others to speak out about things we may all be thinking about but are too afraid to say out loud.
And don't forget, babes, if the shoe fits, wear it. All right, guys, welcome back to Spilling the Tea with Estee.
And Marlene, I was gonna, you forgot your name?
Probably. And we are.
I'm gonna check your mic.
Mics are on.
Okay.
We're in episode 14.
Damn.
We're already here. We're almost at the end.
I want to say I'm extremely proud of us with all the consistency that we've had, all the planning.
We only took 1 week off, but it was not like our fault.
It was not our fault.
It was God.
It was God because we tried 3 times.
Yeah, and it just wasn't happening. It's like, you know what, let's just...
So I feel like
count.
that episode, we'll just save it for another time.
Yeah, and it was a cute one.
It was a cute one. We can definitely bring that up later on.
Yeah.
Pero
today we have a very... personal and relatable episode because I think this can help it's like an episode that anybody can relate. Whether you're like 50, whether you're like 18 and like going through your first heartbreak, whether you're Brenda's man and she dumped you for hot girl summer.
I mean, it happens. Even like through friendships, or even like when you go through a difficult time with family, like you know, maybe those relationships don't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
But I called this episode "You Are the Energy," and it's more of a self-reflection episode. But before we start, let's chismear a little bit.
Yeah, because this like relates to our topic, and like I want to chismear about la señora Adriana Grande.
Pero ese totote como está medio grande.
Está medio stretched, sí.
Porque
she has been around.
How old is Ariana Grande?
I don't know. She's probably like what, 20? She's below 30.
I mean, I don't know if like maybe because like she's a superstar and she's like a celebrity and like everything is just like a magnifying glass on her. But I think on my hand I can like name like 5 relationships she was in.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna break it down because you know I'm the pop culture correspondent here.
Go ahead. You get E-News.
Hello. So Ariana Grande was married to some guy she met during COVID, and she married him. He was
his something Garcia.
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
Probably. I don't know that whole part.
Okay.
But so there was rumors that she had split with him because she had been seen out without her wedding ring. And now it came to light that she is dating her co-star from a show or like a play. I don't know what it is, but he plays SpongeBob.
Yes.
In like a play. So basically Ariana Grande is playing SpongeBob. And then I'm not going to take credit for this joke because it was not mine.
Okay.
But one of my coworkers said, well, she's dating SpongeBob. That means she's going back to her roots. Because, you know, she started in Nickelodeon.
Okay. So she has that Nickelodeon back. That was annoying me in the frame.
Oh. But yeah. So she left. I don't know if she left her husband for this guy or she cheated on her husband. And SpongeBob had a wife who has a brand new baby
with him.
And Ariana had like met the wife. I think she like there's pictures of her holding the baby. Messy.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
You fell in love with him being a dad, I guess?
So yeah, I don't know. But to me, like, I mean, not to like give Ariana and the guy an excuse, but there's just so many layers to it. First of all, you left your wife with a brand new baby. That's fucked up. And you know how they always say like, no man leaves a happy home. But you don't know what their home is. But the whole thing is fucked up. First of all, there's like a little baby involved, and this man just bounced with fucking Ariana Grande.
I just feel like people leave relationships because they think that the grass is greener on the other side, and they don't realize that the grass is greener where you water it.
That, and also, what if you're the lawn?
What if you're the lawn?
The grass is always gonna be green. I'm gonna be green because I'm the fucking lawn.
Exactly. Stretch out on that bitch.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk about, like, just mention that.
I find that she had a comment about that though, the ex-wife or the current wife.
Oh, like she went out and she
Yeah.
said something. I forgot what it was. I didn't do my research. Sorry.
But she definitely had opinions about it, and she definitely was saying like, oh, like my family, I guess, is being toyed with. I guess like she thinks like Ariana is just thinking like, oh, this is just like another brand new toy. Because she's had many boyfriends,
Many, and also people
engagements.
Many engagements, and also like SpongeBob.
You could have done better, sis.
Like, go take Drake away from his girl. SpongeBob.
I'm like, who? The 50 girls from like Sin City?
Take him. SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
No. If you're gonna take somebody's man, don't do it, but at least have it be like some Drake caliber. SpongeBob?
But she dated Pete.
But SpongeBob?
Do you think SpongeBob is on a higher caliber or level than Pete? Or
in looks wise?
Yeah.
No, he's at the bottom.
Yeah, out of everybody at the bottom.
Yeah. But that was my little Ariana Grande tea.
So we could get into today's topic, which I want to point out. It has been very of a long journey for me to get here with this episode. When we first started the podcast, you were like, are you going to do this episode? Like, are you going to talk about it? Because now, like, you're putting your life out there and you're, like, talking about stuff. And, you know, some people, like, they want to keep things private. I want to keep things private.
And the point of us being here is to be relatable.
Exactly. And to be vulnerable and to have a connection with our audience.
Yeah, and if, like, the only purpose of this is not to, like, bash anybody or air anybody out, even though it's deserved. But the sole purpose of this is just to, like, if anybody's listening and just to hear, like, wow, like, I am going through a breakup and these people look like they're good, like, there is hope for me. So, like, we're not trying to bash anybody. We're just trying to, like, you know, this is what people go through. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to do the work.
Exactly. So, I had a choice about, like, if I wanted to be with this public on the podcast or not. And I struggled with it a lot. I used to talk to you. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk about it. But at the end of it all, I decided to go forward and talk about my own heartbreak. Because I want to be, one, vulnerable with my audience. Two, I want them to know that I'm human just like them. And three, because I feel within a healing process, you have to purge out things.
And let it out.
And that is part of my healing process. And also, I have some things to say that I need to set the record straight on.
Yeah.
So I'll start off with, I was in a long-term 10-year relationship, which you had witnessed me in as well. It's been a while since then. And my life was very, very much intertwined with theirs. We had a very much intertwined life by 10 years.
Yeah. Which, as it should. Like, you're dating someone for 10 years. Like.
So, yeah, I was with this person for, like, 1/3 of my life. And, you know, it was, like, very early on, 21, 22 to, like, about 31. So it was a very, like, long-winded relationship, grow up together, support each other, do all these little stages. And, you know, like I said again, like, my reason for this is not to bash anyone. This is from my point of view. And these are just some tips that I have noticed within my own healing process, my own way of, like, getting over things and what I should have paid more attention to. and what I should have, and they're kind of like red flags.
Yeah.
That I was looking at them as pink flags.
Yeah. And there's some, I haven't been in a 10-year anything. I don't think I've dated anybody for more than 10 minutes. So, like, let alone 10 years, it's just not it. But I've also been in relationships that I have ignored certain red flags.
Mm-hmm.
And you think in your head, like, oh, this is not red, this is pink.
Like we can move on from it.
We can move on from it. The pink gets pinker until it reaches red.
Yeah, I'm wearing pink pants.
Mm-hmm. Pink flag. She's a pink flag. And I'm wearing red for love.
Or the red flag.
But yeah, so you ignore certain things, and like there are things that you ignore that just become a red flag, or it's always been a red flag, and you just disguised it.
Yeah, you just be like, oh, this like could change in a person, or this person might like change over time.
Yeah, which when it comes to that, you can change somebody's style.
True.
You can change somebody's haircut.
Yes.
You can change their car.
Yes.
You can probably change their eating habits.
If they want to.
If they want to, but you cannot change somebody who they are at their core.
Yeah.
And that's something everybody needs to be aware.
Yeah.
Of like, there are certain things you cannot change. You cannot change people's core. You cannot change people's sex drive.
Honey.
And as much as you want to teach, there is only a certain level of change you can get to.
Exactly. So, actually, from this breakup, I feel that so many good things came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to say, like, my intuition was more clear. My ability to believe in myself and my decisions were more clear. I was confident in my decisions. My path of who I am, and what I want has become more clear, and my road has become smoother.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that like came from this breakup. So I want to say, just to like give some backstory, it came to a very sudden end. I feel like, and first of all, I want to also bring up that men are coward, because or the person that I was dealing with is a coward, because the way that I had my intuition and be like, hey, why you feel more comfortable being my friend than teaching me or showing me that or loving me like I'm your girl.
Yeah.
So for me to have to approach you about your feelings, that's how I know you don't have the ability to tell me what's really going on in your mind.
Yeah.
That's like one of the first things I want to clear up. Like, if you have a decision that maybe you don't want to be with this person, let this person know that you don't want to be with them and walk in your truth. Because that is like, if you're going to walk away from something or you're going to be doing something fucked up, walk in your truth and be like, hey, by the way, I'm not in love with you, or I'm falling out of love with you, or I didn't like what you did, or I don't like when you do this. Instead of me having to approach you. So that's one thing I can say. Also, I feel like a lot of people get into my DMs or ask me these questions of like, how did you heal? How did you move on so quickly? How do you have that glow?
Which you do.
And this is the reason why I'm doing this episode.
Yeah.
Just to like answer those questions.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely saw the glow. You were there for like the whole ride.
I was there for it all. Which, again, like you healed. But I think one thing that I can say about you as your friend is that maybe what a lot of people don't have is that you have self-worth.
Yeah.
And then when you came out of that situation, you were like, I don't deserve this. I deserve a lot better, and I am going to give myself a lot better.
Yeah.
And you didn't just like wait, like, oh, maybe like things would change, like maybe no.
One thing that somebody told me was, don't fuck your ex.
That was me. That was me. And if if I can only give you one advice, Brenda, do not, this from experience,
You
do,
listening?
Brenda, do not fuck your ex. That is the worst thing you can do.
It is.
Because number one, you are going from like heartbreak, anger to like you're about to come. Then you come and then you just hate them again. Like you just took yourself on a fucking roller coaster.
That's crazy.
You just took yourself on a roller coaster that you didn't need to be on, that you didn't pay for to fucking enter. That's number one. Number two, it is so easy to just fall back into old habits because you are like having sex.
And I believe in like energy exchange when you're having sex.
That too. But like if you used to cuddle after sex, then you might cuddle after sex even though you've broken up because that's just your comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And then little by little, like you just go back into your same habits that you had with the person.
And then they're getting what they want with no commitment.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, then Brenda, you're gonna find out about Maria.
But it's also like I'm not going to give you intimacy if you're not giving me the truth, coming like a commitment. Like that's what I'm saying. Like do not like take it from me. Do not fuck your ex. That is the biggest thing I always tell people that are going through a breakup. Even if you're going through a break, even if you say I'm taking a break from X person because we need to figure things, do not. Like, girl, I would take you to get the biggest fucking vibrator you can get.
You didn't take me to get a vibrator.
No.
I'm like, you didn't
But
take me
Brenda,
to get a
I will take you to get the
That's a good.
I would take you to get the biggest vibrator. I will get you the flower that would suck on your little clit. Brenda, I can get you all. I can help you get all the tools that you need to not fuck this man or lady because I don't know which way you swing, Brenda. But whichever it is, do not fuck your ex. That is to me like what I tell everybody. Don't do that because that would make you go back into the hole that you're trying to climb out of,
Exactly.
and that can undo a lot of self work that you had been doing.
Yeah.
And cut off communication. Like there is no friendship. I'm sorry, the audience can call me ignorant. I do not care. I do unless you have a child
Yeah, that's
and you are
different.
co-parenting.
Yeah.
There is no reason, absolutely zero reason in my book, why you should be friends with an ex, especially after breaking up. Maybe like in 5 years, if you guys become like sort of friendly and it's like, hey, what up? After breaking up, do not text me how you're doing. Do not text me, did you eat? Do not text me, miss you. Don't text me that. And if they're texting you, do not respond.
You're not inclined to respond either.
You do not respond. Don't give them that energy. Like there is no reason why. And again, I go back to a couple episodes. After a breakup, I don't wish you well. I don't.
Not even a good day.
I wish you the thing you deserve, but like 10% less. It's honest. Like
I wish you the day you deserve y un poco de diarrhea.
yeah, it's honest. Like after we break up and you hurt me, I truly don't wish you well at the moment. So please don't text me.
Whoop.
And that's that. But I think you handled yourself with so much style and grace because you knew who you were and you had so much self worth and you knew you deserved better. There was never a question in you that you were like, am I gonna find something better? Am I gonna like, like make it? You were just like, no, like I'm going to do it. I'm that bitch.
Like, so I'll say a little bit like I approached, we definitely some answers. And then I was like, oh, I had mentioned like, let's do some couples therapy. They didn't want to do that. So once you tell me that you don't want to put effort into it, then I'm
done.
out. So I took, and it was around the holidays. So I took my hunky dory ass down to Brooklyn, and I was with my family, and I was having a great time with them. We had a great Christmas, and like I had some self reflection, of course. Like I went through the moment of crying and crying to my family, and of course, and like my parents were very much involved, and they're like, "What's going on?" But after having that support from my family, it was like, bueno, you're not the first and you're not the last, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Get your shit and let's go. If you need to come move in with me, if you need to, I had so many houses to go to. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Me and my mom were like, you can stay with us.
Yeah.
My mom has always said in Spanish, like if you find out like somebody's like getting divorced,
yeah.
Bueno, pues no es la primera ni no es la última que se va a separar. And it's true.
It's true. So after that happened, I had that like support from my family. Of course, I was going through it.
And then we went to Mexico and
yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah, we went to Mexico and we had a great time. Mm-hmm. It was like such an outpour. I had so much things going on within me.
It was very like Carrie, like Sex in the City.
It was very Carrie.
It was like you were broken up. Let's hit up fucking Mexico.
Yeah.
And let's turn up.
Like even when like I was back in the home with him, I would go out every fucking day.
Oh wait, we said Carrie Sex in the City.
Yeah.
Like the movie, and we did go to Mexico. And I was like, did anybody shit themselves like Charlotte? And somebody almost did.
Not me.
No, you know who you are.
I'm like, not me.
No, it wasn't you.
Oh,
somebody did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I know. Yeah. So I had that moment of like that breakup, but I think within 1 month of approaching, crying, Mexico, find an apartment. I was out.
Yeah.
In 1 month because I was just had realized within a week or two of just like crying and like going through my shit that I was like, bitch, la mujer es que hace la casa. La mujer es que hace el hombre. La mujer es que pone la orden. And I was definitely that in that situation.
Listen, you can, like, you don't need to have a huge house to have a home.
Oh, no.
You can live in a studio and have a home. You can live in a mansion and have a home. Like, you make your home.
Exactly.
And, like, your home is just your safe space. So wherever you feel safe, that is your home.
After that situation happened, that I confronted it, that home was never my home again.
Yeah.
Never again. And I was fine with leaving and, of course, taking all my motherfucking shit. Every single little thing. And I don't regret not one little thing.
I do.
What?
I can't say it, but I do.
Well, I know what you're going to say.
But I think also what was good for you that I think a lot of people lack when they break up, like they just want to like feel better. They just want to get over it. But I think you really embrace that. You were in a limbo. Not a limbo. You're in a transition.
Yeah.
And I think you were like, I am going to transition out of this chapter and I am going to go into the next one. But you really did the work of like feeling your feelings.
Yeah, I was like
hyping yourself up, like surrounding yourself like friends and family. Like, you know.
It was a long journey.
It was
a very long journey, but I think it was needed to feel the feelings that I was feeling because people don't realize when you've been with somebody for that long, or if you've been with somebody for 8 months and you are like completely head over heels somebody, you are envisioning your life with that person.
Yeah.
You're envisioning that you're going to have kids, or you're envisioning that you're going to move in with this person, or you're envisioning that this person can be in your family's life. When you break up with somebody, you're basically mourning that life that you thought you were going to have.
Yeah, you're mourning the life that you envision yourself. Like you probably were manifesting like that life. So you have to let it go. And that is the transition of like, this is not my life anymore. I am going to go to this new life wherever it takes me.
And also like being okay with whatever life brings at you.
Yeah.
So should we take a little break now? It's going to be a longer episode.
It is, because we have a lot to say. Yeah, let's take a little sip and cheers to... She's already been drinking, clearly. But we'll be back with more advice.
More self-healing.
Cheers, Brenda, bitch.
You go, Brenda.
Leave that man, Brenda.
Welcome back to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene. We are
You said Estee and I almost said and Marlene. like on Marley.
All right, so let's do that one more time. No, that's fine. All right. So welcome back, everyone. It's gonna be a longer episode, so we're gonna have a few more breaks because we have a lot to say. And I want to say also that thank you for listening to me, because at the end of the day, this is a emotional purge for me of letting go of like the last little bit of my old things, or my old, like a cat, like a butterfly, like my old cocoon.
Yeah, the last bit of your cocoon.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about some red flags that I have noticed. Just
and in general, right?
In general.
Because I have some too.
Ooh. All right, so let's do one and one.
Okay.
So the first one is, which my mom taught me, is faith. So my issue in this relationship particularly was, and I wrote this out, so that's why I'm reading from the computer, which is I was able to foresee, meaning my life with him was very clear, but his life and his vision with me was blurry and non-existent. In my mind, I was pouring into a bucket or a cup that has like couples, and I forgot about pouring into my own cup.
Yeah, which that I can agree with.
So that's one. What's about yours?
One big red flag that I find, this is just in general relationships. You in the beginning of a relationship is very big that you set your boundaries right away, and you like tell people, this is something I do not allow. And one for me, because I've experienced it, is any sort of physicality, because you can, like, if you throw a plate, then next you're gonna throw the fucking like sartén, then third you're gonna punch a wall, and then what's four, you're gonna punch me.
Yep.
That is a bright red flag. Like anything of that physicality, like you have to be able to control your anger. And if you cannot control your anger, you need to excuse yourself, go cool off, and come back. None of that physicality shit would ever roll with me again as it did in the past, because that's
toxic,
and they're unacceptable.
And it's unacceptable, and
I've never been physical with anybody. Like, nobody has ever put their hands on me, but they have taken my fucking Louis Vuitton bag and flung it across the street.
You know who he's talking about if you're listening.
And there was red flags that led up to that, and I just didn't think they were that red until that happened.
Yeah.
And those are things that like I had to learn of, like, just, if you feel uncomfortable about certain things that they do, like, say it and let them know, like, I don't like that kind of stuff.
Because it could be emotional, it could be emotional abuse, but could also like feel like you're like scared to do things because you don't want to like upset them.
Like slamming doors, like throwing shit, throwing phones, like
none of that,
punching the wall, like, no, because that's gonna graduate into you, and that is a huge red flag. Like, I think my biggest red flag, aside from
save it.
Yeah, I actually didn't know what was the other red flag. Oh. Oh, I do it. So yeah.
Save it. Okay. So compromising and bending too much for the sake of us. Trying to be everything for everyone and not enough for yourself.
Yeah.
That's like one of my biggest like takeaways. And it could be in relationships romantically, it can be in a relationship with family, it can be in a relationship with a friend, that you feel like you're just like doing the utmost, and then you're like, what about me? Like, what am I getting in return?
Yeah.
So that's one. What's yours?
Another red flag in a relationship. Damn, you kind of took mine, because I was gonna say, like, compromising. Like, I can compromise, you can compromise, but there are certain things that I need to hold strong, and I don't know, they're like, your boundaries.
Yeah.
Actually, like, people not having boundaries.
Having no boundaries.
Having no boundaries. That's a red flag. in itself because like everybody needs to have boundaries. That's how you are comfortable. And if like you just keep pushing me and pushing me against my boundaries, like you don't respect me.
Exactly. There's no respect, and you're not taking the other person in consideration.
It could be as little as like, you know what, like I don't like to do this Monday to Thursday. I don't like to hang out, or just whatever it is that you set your boundary with your partner. They should be able to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, with one of my exes, like when I get angry and we're fighting, and I feel like we're not getting into like a resolution, it takes a lot for me to get super angry. But once I get angry, it's like I see red. I never like to get there. So when I feel like I'm getting there, I like to just shut down and be like, let's talk tomorrow, let's talk later, let's cool off. If you can't respect that and you want to keep going, then whatever comes at you, you wanted the smoke. What is the thing?
You already got me. You already got me started.
It was like fuck around and find out. Then you're gonna find out. But
because
no,
and
like,
you don't want to be there.
You don't. But seriously, like if that is a boundary, like for me, that if you can't respect, then it's just like maybe we're just not meant to be together.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
I would say another one for me would be when you're in a relationship and you have a lot of unhealed childhood traumas. I feel like they will surface and unravel in your relationship. Like I feel like for me to take my own responsibility and my accountability in my past relationships, I was not my best version of myself. I was definitely like not mature enough. I feel like I could have taken more responsibility, to have more patience. But I also feel that this person was not the person for me because they didn't have the level of maturity and patience to be with me.
Or intellectuality.
Or intellectual.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of like shutdown happened, and I was like felt like I was unresolved.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like sometimes I feel like people like just don't match, intellectual wise, or like not even intellectual, like they just don't know how to emotionally communicate because they're not aware of their own emotions.
Yeah. At this age that we're at,
my big age,
at my fucking big age, you need to come pre-healed. You need to come pre-healed. You need to already have worked through your shit.
I feel like
I am not gonna work it for you.
And I'm not your therapist.
I am not your therapist, and I am not going to be your fucking person that's gonna help. Come already done. I have done the work for myself, and I still do because it's a constant work. You work on yourself. You need to come already with that same mindset because it's just not gonna work, babes.
I feel like if you're showing that you're working on yourself and you're actually putting in the work, I'm okay to.
But you gotta be working.
But you have to be working. Like I'm not gonna be like every time that you get into a tantrum, I'm not gonna be like that's your 5-year-old self inside of you because you haven't dealt with shit from your past. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not nobody's therapist.
You need to come like 70% healed because if you tell me you're working on yourself and all you did was book the appointment for the therapist.
No, I don't have time for that.
It don't count.
How long you been in therapy?
No,
do you read?
He didn't go. He just booked the appointment. That don't count. No.
Okay. I have one that you might be a little controversial.
Wait, I have one that's okay. It's just for me, but I think a lot of people have this. This goes for men, woman, however you identify.
Yeah.
One of my biggest red flags, if you don't have friends.
Ooh, that's true.
That is a huge red flag. You don't have to be popular. You don't have to have 20,000 friends. You could just have a very small circle. You need to have long time friends.
And I have an opposite for you.
That is a red flag because that means you can hold relationships. Like, or also like if you have a friend, but it's like every 2 years you have a new best friend. I knew this is not relationship wise, but one of my best friends got like a new good friend. And the good friend was cool, but one of my red flags that I was like, yo, why does this girl always have a new bestie? Like, or like every time you ask her about her old friends, it's like, oh, I fell out with this person, I fell out with this person, I fell out with this person.
Is that you can't have
It's like,
any
ma'am,
relationships?
you can't hold a friendship. I can say I have probably fell out with like in my lifetime, probably like 3 people, like truly fell out. Mm,
I think for me, about 4 people.
yeah, but it's
Or we just drifted apart, but that's not falling
that's
out.
not no like truly falling out. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't fuck with that bitch because of this. I think like probably like 2 or 3 people. Aside from that, like all my friends are solid.
Yeah.
I've had my one of my oldest friends is from the 6th grade. We're still very close. We talk almost every day.
Mhm.
I still have my high school friends, like my little high school core
Crew.
3 girls. We're still very good friends. We talk very often. We don't see each other because some more people are parents, so it's harder to hang out. But every time we hang out, like we have that relationship.
Mhm.
I've known you for like 10 years,
I think we longer.
probably like
Yeah.
10 years plus.
Yeah.
Like all of my friendships are solid because I got think I could keep a friendship.
You put in the work.
I put in the
You
work.
have to be a good friend to have a good friend.
Yes.
You're supportive.
Yeah.
And you also mind your business.
I do. I do. I do. But that is a big red flag for me. Like, why don't you have any friends? Why did you just meet your best friend a year and a half ago? Like, what's going on?
That makes me think that if you don't have some friendships that are like kind of long,
you can't hold a relationship.
You can't hold a relationship, but also you are gonna cling on to me.
And also, you know what?
And I do not like that.
And also, like, you know what? If you fell out with 10 people, you might be the problem.
Lo dijiste?
You might be the problem. I know a couple of girls that they've had, I think every friend they had, they fell out. Like, sis, you are the problem. It's like, if you date, like, let's say in your years that you've had, like, let's say I would have had like 10 boyfriends in these last 10 years, and every single boyfriend broke up. We broke up because of the same reason, and it's because of me. Like, I would be the problem.
Of course.
Like, there's always a common denominator.
And that's you, boo.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a little bit of the opposite. If you have too many friends and you are always wanting to be surrounded by people, then you feel that you're not enough.
Yes, but in that debate, the person you're talking about, those weren't too many friends. Those weren't friends.
No, those are acquaintances.
It was many acquaintances.
Yes.
Few friends.
No, yeah.
So.
But that says a lot about your self-worth.
No, because there's a difference, yeah.
But that says a lot about your self-worth, because if you can't even sit with your own thoughts for 5 minutes, how do you ever get to sit down and be like, dissect, like, okay, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling like you are not strong within yourself. You're not strong within your gut.
Yeah, the best time I have is by myself.
Like, if you can't even sit in the bathroom for 5 minutes without your phone, that says a lot about you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I literally had to make a rule about we can only have people in my household 3 times out of 7 days. Why do I need to make this type of why?
Which that's a lot.
That's a lot. I think that was more than fair.
Why do people gotta come 3 times a week?
Exactly.
Like,
your house is not Miller Air House.
No. That's a lot. I agree. You need to have some solid friends. And also at this fucking age, I don't care for many acquaintances.
To be honest, I don't.
I don't. I have my core group, and that's who I stick with. And then I have some outsider friends that I do care about them and I see them when I see them. But the fucking outside acquaintance world, like I'll see you on the Instagram.
And that's okay.
It's fine.
And then one thing I want to say that is going to be controversial is never blame the next bitch.
I don't agree with that.
Let me finish mine because I wrote it nicely.
I'm not gonna say nicely.
Don't blame the next bitch because she don't owe you shit but the views on your profile and all the shit she talks about you to her friends. That's it. At the end of the day, the person that owes you anything was a person that you were intimate with and you shared your life with.
100%.
Or your relationship with.
I agree with that part, yeah.
So, point blank period. Don't blame the next bitch. Don't talk shit about the next bitch. The next bitch is what? Again, the next bitch.
And it's usually a downgrade. It was for you.
I'm not even gonna say any comments because we're not moving like that.
Yeah, we're supposed to be grown.
We're supposed to be grown.
I can agree with that to a certain extent.
Why so?
I know because it's not just in general, and I know some trifling bitches.
Okay.
I knew one very well. They're trifling bitches that they see you and they see that you are living well. You're living a great life, a happy life. You're traveling, you're doing this, like you seem happy in your relationship. And those bitches want it. And those bitches say, I want that life. And those bitches go and take that life. And is it the partner's fault because he got taken away? Well, no, because he went. He didn't get taken away. He willingly went. It is 100% his fault.
Of 1,000%.
It is 1,000% his fault. But let's not forget that there are bitches that are so trifling that they know this person is in a relationship and they do not care.
They don't care so much.
They do not care at all. Because that bitch wants a fucking come up from the gutter they live in. And it's a general statement. Because I knew a gutter bitch. But I said what I said. Bitches are trifling, and yes, it is 99.9% the partner's fault. But don't let it be known that trifling little bitch, she also gets what's coming to her.
No, I feel like, hey, that's what you wanted, boo. Go ahead. You ain't gonna get far.
No.
And on top of that, I also feel that everybody has a moment for themselves. That is that person's moment to live the life that they wanted to live. Great for you, boo. Go ahead. But try to get a kid from a person that's scared of commitment.
Or try living in somebody's shadow.
But try living in somebody's shadow that every time you see a wall, the color of the wall was picked by
someone
else or happy relationship at the time together.
Yeah, but that's just a general comment because I have seen that with many relationships. Like there's people that are just haters and they see a couple thriving. And
no, after that comment, we're gonna need to get a whole bunch of evil eyes.
Right here, bitch. Come at me. I am protected. No, there is people that they say like, if I was in a relationship and somebody would be like, you know what, he got a good man. His man takes him out. His man takes him traveling. They live a good life. But all you see that I live a good life is my Instagram life. You know what
everybody puts 5 seconds of their best life on Instagram. They never put everything that happened beforehand.
Yeah. So those people just like, I want that life and let me go get it. And it is the partner's fault for leaving with them, but there is some fault that goes to that trifling ass person. I would not give them a fucking pass.
We disagree. We agree to disagree.
We agree to disagree.
All right. And then there's one quote I want to end this section on is, don't let your boyfriend that's not giving you, or your husband or fiance or your partner who's not giving you what you want at the very moment, leave you so salty that you're going to block your blessings with somebody else that comes along.
Or like a rebound?
Like a rebound or somebody after. Like you never know if, you don't know what, you learn your stuff and then you're like so salty about what happened that you're gonna go and block your blessing.
Sometimes the rebound is good.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm just gonna not say that.
What?
It's too personal.
Okay.
So.
Never mind,
guys.
But I want to say that one thing I always used to say, which was fucked up, but it was very relatable to the situation, is I used to say, if you cannot give me what you want, step aside so the man that can give me what I want could come to me. Because if you are over here wasting people's time,
mm-hmm.
do the person a favor. If you really care about this person, step the fuck aside.
Yeah.
And stop being toxic. And be a man. And be like, you know what? I'm not going to give this person what I want. I have to deal with my own healing. I need to deal with my own shit. Step the fuck aside. And trust me, the person will come to you when the time is right.
Yeah.
So we're going to take another little break.
We're going to take a little drink.
Yeah, because we needed it after that.
We're going to cheers to the gutter bitches. Cheers.
I'm not even going to say I apologize because I don't.
You don't apologize.
You need to have the day you deserve, boo.
And subtract 10%. Woo. We're back from a break. We needed to
much needed
refill our drinks.
Yes.
Because we're very passionate.
It's a very passionate episode.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna get into a positive light.
Yes, get a positive light, because at every dark moment there's always a positive light.
Yeah.
And there's always lessons to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I have some lessons I've learned along the way.
Yeah. One thing is letting go of people that you are uncertain of or not serving a purpose. So letting go of people that bridge a gap between you and your ex. And I say this with the most sincere intention in my gut. The mute and block button is your best friend.
Yeah. And if you have to do it for your own mental health.
Exactly.
Go for it.
You don't know how many people got muted on IG. It's ridiculous. I need it for my own sanity.
Yeah. I mute a lot of people because they annoy me.
Well, and that's for your sanity.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with pillars. So tell your friends not to update you on another person's life.
I think that's a good one. I think sometimes friends
they mean well.
They mean well, but like honestly, like I truly don't care.
I don't care.
Like, please don't tell me that you saw them on Saturday. Like, it really is none of my business.
Great for you.
Like, see them on your own time. The only thing I would ask is please don't talk about me.
Don't talk about me, and don't give a life update about my life either.
Yes, and I don't care.
And a famous quote: "El que no está, no hace falta."
Wise words from my mom.
Adriana. Your real support will show up for you in ways you can't even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, in my situation, I had so much love within that moment. Even like, one thing I can say is the day that I moved, how many people were there?
What is it called when
it was ridiculous.
During COVID, when like the cars will go down and like celebrate people's birthday. What is that called?
I forgot.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when like it was COVID and you can't really go into people's houses, so the cars will just pass by.
That's what it was when Marlene moved. It was like a parade of cars just popped out, and we moved this bitch in 30
3
minutes.
hours.
Like, we took everything out the house.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes or less. Like, we should start our own company, and that should be your slogan: 30 minutes or less move. Because it was like, it was a caravan.
So much support.
Yeah.
There was no need for me to get a U-Haul.
No.
It was like.
And people were here like, let me hang your TV.
Yeah, like, let me hang it. Oh, you need a TV? You went to go get my TV.
Yeah.
Then I had two people.
Almost got bagged in the Home Depot in the Bronx.
Diana of the Bronx.
Princess Diana of the Bronx. Yeah, me.
It was
People were lending, like air mattresses.
no, bitch.
Oh,
Did I get an air? Oh yes, somebody did. I was like, yeah, they did lend me an
yeah,
air
like
mattress.
you need chairs, like
Chairs. I still got a chair here.
whatever you need. People were like here,
Yeah, like
and that's when you know who your true friends are.
When you feel rallied, you feel supported, you feel like I'm gonna get through this. Like people can see that like
Yeah,
I'm not a person to ask for help.
yeah, and
But
even if like you like a text goes a long way.
It does.
Like a text like, hey, thinking of you, hope you're well. Like you don't know if that person might be going through a hard time in that moment, and that text just like
made their day.
Made their day.
I literally love those messages.
Yeah.
So that was like your pillar will show up for you, and that's when you know who are your real friends.
Yeah, I think one time I called you drunk and you were like upset.
Yeah.
And then you saw that we were drunk, like acting a fool, and then you started cracking up and you were like, bye.
Bye. I was like, I can't with you guys.
Yeah.
This one is a big one. Prepare for tough times, but stay firm in your decisions. Why would you give the person the opportunity for a closure conversation? The opportunity was given when you asked the person to work on a relationship and you put the effort into the relationship, but they are emotionally already checked out.
Yeah. I think that applies unless the closure is needed for yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like you need to have one last conversation for your personal gain,
yeah,
then have it. But who gives a fuck about their closure? Like, matter of fact, don't closure for him.
Yeah, like,
or them, they,
yeah.
she. Like, don't closure. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it a word. Don't closure. Like, I hope, like, you don't live well.
I was gonna say they don't deserve to see you in your glory if they cannot be there for you in your worst.
Yeah. Like if you what was that saying? Like, you cannot see me at my Michelle, or like it was something about like you don't deserve to see me at my Beyonce when you weren't there when I was Michelle.
Yes. You always have to prepare for your best scenario and your worst scenario. So for me in this situation, even if like I was long gone not thinking about this, I already knew that I wanted to live by myself because I never had that experience. Yeah. So in some way be prepared for the worst and the best.
Yeah.
Like I said before, mourning your life that you had a vision with someone. Remember, when you miss a person, you don't miss the person, you just miss the person they were with you. Because that person is not with you anymore.
No, it is. And I think sometimes people hold on to hope.
Yeah.
And I know people can change.
I feel like people can change after something they go through a very much low point in their life, and they actually like can be like, damn, like I fucked up, or I need to do better, and then they will change.
I feel, but like if your ex didn't treat you right, he didn't give you your place in life when you were with him, and then you guys break up, and he tries to come back around, I don't think he's gonna give you the place in life that you deserve.
I'm sorry, but
it's not happening.
Like, you think you're gonna like just have a conversation with me just to like I'm gonna make myself available to you? No. Not happening. This one is a very big one for me. Is everything happens for a reason. There's a lesson in pain and misery. Don't be afraid to stand alone and to learn from it. That is the best part.
Yeah.
So that's for sure. And then, do you have another one?
Of like my lessons of like.
Yeah. Or how have you tried to move on? Or like what helped you move on?
What helped me move on from like a breakup? Being around friends. I can be very introverted. So I do like a lot of like like I am to myself a lot especially when it comes to that point.
You're an introverted extrovert.
Yeah. But I think like again like it's the self-worth. Like I remember on my last breakup, which was a couple years ago, I got into a relationship and like the lesson that I had from it, and the reason why I moved on so easily was that in that relationship, like I wasn't myself because the person was very like sensitive, and they were we didn't communicate the same way. They didn't communicate well. I think I communicate pretty well, but my communication is just very rough.
Yes.
It's very
I
raw.
can identify with that.
It's very raw. It's very rough. Like I would tell you, but to me, like the people that know me, when I'm telling you something, it's not to bash you. It's because I care about you.
Yeah.
So that's number one. I need you to know like I always have the best intentions. If you don't think I have the best intentions, then why are you with me? That's number one. So we didn't communicate right, and then I think I wanted to be in a relationship so much that I was trying extra hard to make it work. So I was changing the way I am, and it wasn't even like compromising. It was like really like changing. It was like I was like more like softer, and like I would second guess when I had to say something because I didn't want to upset the person. Um, because I just didn't want them to feel attacked instead of just me telling you how it is. So like I was doing a lot of that until like like you just get to your last straw, and it just didn't work out. And then I think my way of healing was again because like I told you I know who I am and what I deserve. And for that relationship, I knew I tried it all, and I knew I was going down a path that I was just not being myself. I was not communicating how I was, and it still wasn't working. So it didn't work out for me. It took me a couple months to get out of that funk. But baby, once you get out that funk, the fun don't stop.
If you would have stayed with him longer, do you feel like you would have resented him because you tried so hard?
100%. I feel like I would have became a different person. Like there was things like if I wanted to say something, I would double like I would overthink it. Like, oh, I don't really want to get into an argument, so I don't want to say this because this might set him off because of the fucking back to fucking childhood trauma. He had a lot of that. So it's like I don't want to say this because this is gonna trigger this, and the childhood trauma is gonna come back, and we're gonna be fucking dating the childhood trauma. It was just like a lot that I would think about just to fucking say a sentence.
Yeah, that's too much.
And that's not me. Everybody knows me knows that I don't think before I speak, and I think that's why people like me.
That makes you you. Yeah. That makes you your personality.
Yeah.
Did he ever try to get back?
He did.
He was missing that old thing.
He did, and like I said, I am not friends with no exes.
For a reason.
I never have had a kid, like adopted a kid, surrogated a kid with anybody. I've never been married.
You've been making up sentences, surrogated.
Surrogated a kid. I've never had any of that. So I don't have any reason to talk to an ex. And thankfully, my dog is fully mine.
I was gonna say, what about the dog?
No, the dog was fully mine.
Okay.
So
custody.
So daddy of him.
Oof.
So I don't have to share, speak. I don't have to.
There's no need.
I don't even have to be in the same room, breathe the same air as an ex. So
I think that would have been toxic air by then.
Yeah. Yes, he wanted this back because not to toot my own horn, I am a fucking catch. I am very mature. I have my own career. I have my own money. I have my own friends. I am fucking funny.
You are. You're self-sufficient.
I'm very self-sufficient. Like, I am a catch. Did he want me back? Yes. Once, like, me ubiqué, and I was like, esto no es para mí. I was like, no, yo estoy ubicado. You're not gonna come here and knock me off my fucking little pedestal.
You know what? When you said yeah, he wanted this back. You know what I thought about last week when you said how big is my pussy. I was like, that brings me back to that.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like, my friend is the one that coined the term ubique, and
I love that word.
And now, like I say, I was like, yeah, I was like after that, and like I had like a couple months that I was like, like a little bit of a funk of like, oh, like of another failed relationship. Like I can't keep a man even if Jesus paid me. Like I went through that.
But I think that just teaches us lessons that we have to keep going through Either you learn, baby, or you're gonna be tripping, and you will learn eventually.
No, but once it hit me, está ubicado. And they always come when you're fucking like
ubicado.
Mm-hmm. So once I was ubicado, like sitting pretty, he was like, "Hey,
okay." My last one is cry, bitch. Cry is necessary for release. Mm-hmm. My favorite place to cry is the shower. I feel like crying is a extremely good release, that even when you're feeling frustrated about work or frustrated about life, or you just feel like everything is just, all the odds are against you, fucking cry. It's necessary and you will feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you cry.
I don't. It's very hard for me to cry.
I was like, the only time I saw you crying was New Year's.
Yeah, but it was like a happy cry.
It was a happy cry.
I was very thankful and overjoyed with emotion, but at least it wasn't a sad cry. It's very hard for me to cry because, like, back to childhood traumas. I was raised in a culture that, like, showing your emotions and crying is looked down upon. Yeah. Like it's like a sign of weakness. So I have been slowly trying to break out of that. Yeah. And be more vulnerable, which is hard.
It is hard, but we're here.
It's very hard for me to be vulnerable.
We're here on this couch, being vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm being vulnerable with the peeps. The peeps. But I think like a lot of people that meet me, they always say that I'm very like I'm friendly and I'm nice, but I can be like a little standoffish. Sometimes. And I don't like open up until like after. But I was like, I don't trust people.
You didn't trust me.
No.
You thought I was a bitch.
Yeah, 100%. She can't be one, by the way.
But a nice one.
Sweet bitch.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I don't trust people, so like until I trust you, I don't bring my guard down.
Everybody, I mean, I think I'm the same way though.
Yeah.
So, then let's just start wrapping it up.
Okay.
So I want people and our listeners and anybody that's going through this just to know, to realize that you are the light.
Yeah.
You are the energy. Mm-hmm. And you are the vibe.
Yeah. And if a man ever wants to like downplay you, he ain't the one, because
nobody's gonna downplay you if they really love you.
Yeah, the one that really loves you for who you are is gonna embrace it. Like if you're una fucking maldita loca and your man fucking loves you, siga maldita loqueando.
Me.
Yeah. And like your man is gonna fucking love it. Like,
esa es mi maldita loca.
Yeah, your man's gonna be like, yo, that fucking crazy bitch is mine. And you're gonna be there fucking volando. And that is healthy. If you have a man that is trying to tell you like, yo, bitch, don't be doing that. Don't be acting up. Don't be so loud.
Don't be so big. You are always talking. Oh, your personality is too big, or you need to calm it down. No, then that's not for you.
When just in a relationship, love, friendship, all of that, you should never feel like you have to make yourself smaller to make somebody bigger, because at the end of the day, this world is very big, and there is enough space for everybody to be big.
Exactly.
So that is my big thing. Like, you are that person.
You are that bitch.
You are that bitch.
But you know what I did notice about dating?
Yeah, that's horrible.
It's
horrible.
Men realize that you are the vibe, but are they willing to stand up to your standards? And that's what I did learn.
And a lot of them don't.
They just want to be in your vibe. They're like, oh, who is this girl? She's traveling. Oh, she's always out. Oh, she's doing this. Oh, she's always trying.
She has her own life.
She has her own life and this. And then they can't stand when I have standards. That's what I did realize when I was dating.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. And like, we're going to pray for that man. Mm-hmm. We're manifesting that man for you.
Yeah. I really want the guy to be like, my man, Estee, fucking nuts.
And I love him.
And I fucking love him. I want him to be crazier.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What would you say is, well, you said your lesson.
I said many, but
I would say like what, because I have my own lesson about.
What lessons did I say?
About this particular relationship.
my lesson from your relationship.
Actually, yeah, that is a good one.
Okay, where do I start? I finally have the floor. Do not cater too much to somebody when they won't cater back to you. That's it. I'm gonna be grown.
Yes.
And cute.
And keep it mute.
And sexy. And I'm not gonna be a gutter bitch. And that is the only thing I'm gonna share in this podcast.
I think that drink hit you. All right. My biggest lesson from this relationship is I'm a woman that elevates anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I am kind, I am wild, I am free, I am rough, I am loving, I am stubborn, I am supportive, I'm a hard worker. And no wonder it took you 10 years to leave me. I have to make sure.
Wait, but let's clarify something.
Yes.
He didn't leave you.
No, I had to do it for him because he didn't have the balls to tell me how he really felt.
So you left him.
But it took him that long. And I have to make sure that whoever is with me adores me for my small details, for my loud personality, and not fall in love with the idea of what I can do for them.
So fall in love,
all categories.
So fall in love with you for who you are. Una fucking loca.
And you should love that.
Una loca.
Una loca that will be entertaining you forever. Point blank, period.
Yes.
He's like, I found God. I'm not going to say anything.
I found Jesus Christ just showed me the light, and I am going to just stay quiet for the remainder of this podcast. Thank you for listening to me, Estee. Please listen to Marlene.
Now, people say, how do you continue to heal? How do you have the strength to move on? And my answer to everybody is, I love myself more than anyone else. I love myself more than this relationship, and that was my reminder. He's like, I am not saying anything. Thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you guys for giving me the platform to be vulnerable. Thank you, everybody, for hopefully taking something from this. And thank you for having me have a little bit of an emotional release, letting go of this little bit of, a little bit. And now every time that somebody asks me on IG or gives me like an anonymous question,
to episode 14.
Please refer to episode 14, because everything will be just right there as a reminder for myself and anybody else that needs it. Have a good night.
Have a good night. And remember, she is that bitch.